It's your first time too, right?
Yes.
So I'm so thrilled to have them here as the musicians today. Adie was just telling me that her mother is the director of the
World Ensemble and the Unitarian Church.
So Adie's in a sense from here, but you've lived back and forth, and so we're so glad that she's here again and that she can come to Unity, and hopefully this is the first of many times. Excited about it.
So.
You're going to be thrilled to hear her music today.
This is Andrew.
This is Andrew.
And where's Andrew? Oh, there's Andrew, a friend of yours?
Yes.
Tell me about good. And in the back is Adie's partner, Chris. No,
Casey.
Casey, right. Glad you're here, Casey. Yeah. And
My
Casey
back is
pointing.
out, otherwise I'd be in there with you all. But this is great from the back.
Nice. I'm glad we have that comfortable option there. And also, speaking of Casey, he set up the CDs in the back there so that after the service, please support the musicians. We just give them a small stipend to be here, but it really helps them when you buy their CDs. So please see Casey in the back.
And it helps you because the music is amazing.
Yeah, it helps you take it with you.
It's very healing.
Okay, a couple of other announcements are that we've got some fun, celebrative events coming up to expand our Unity community. One of those is around the Halloween time. We're having a big party, dance up at the Circle of Trust on October 27th. That's the Friday night, I believe, before Halloween. So I'm going to be sending out an announcement about it, but we need people to help set up and take down and help with things up there. And then we're having another event around Thanksgiving on November 25th is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So both of these are to grow and expand our community and to do a fun celebrative event around these different holidays. And we may be heading toward having once a month one of these wonderful evening celebrations with dance involved. And, so I'd like Paula, where are you sitting?
I'm right here.
There you are, that's right. Why don't you just stand up for a minute? She's helping to organize and also present at the November 25th event. So it's the beautiful flyer that she's made for it that you'll be getting in the email and seeing around. And tell them a little bit about your creativity, your background, and what you're going to be doing at November 27th.
Well, I want to thank you
25th.
for on the 25th. First, I want to thank Norma for her openness of heart and spirit to welcome. I was a complete stranger after 22 years teaching overseas in various communities and community organizing in places like Brazil and Malaysia. I felt a strong pull to come back to the States because I get the feeling that we kind of need all hands on deck here. And, I met this inspiring lady last year and just kept in touch. And then when I came back to Ashland this year, we decided to sit down and see how my skill set could, support what Norma is doing so beautifully in this community. And so my passion is, using the arts as a form of community outreach and to bring diverse groups of people together and to really celebrate through the healing power of the arts. I'm a mover and a dancer. I do several forms of dance, so we're going to have a dance presentation on that evening, some various forms of harvest dance, and we hope to involve our esteemed musicians from the community as well. And we also had a fun idea since Thanksgiving is such a feast of abundance, and a lot of us have leftovers afterwards. We thought we would have a creative leftover buffet where we could, people could bring in their world famous recipes that they make with the Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leftover potluck.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah. So, Paula, what's your website where people can look at your beautiful dance and work?
It's www.paolablanton.com.
And you got to watch what she does. It's amazing because she leads these ethnic dances from around the world. particularly you're from the Balkans,
Yes, I'm from Macedonia.
from Macedonia, and so that night she's going to lead us in group Balkan dancing. So, spread the word. It's going to be a fabulous evening. Thank you so much,
Thank
Paula
you.
and Tomas, for being here and joining our Unity community.
Thank you.
Exciting.
Thank you for having us.
So, let's see, other announcements are that on Monday nights, we always have a prayer gathering in the back room back there at 5 p.m. And people are welcome to join. We have a team of prayer partners that meets there. And raise your hand, prayer partners that are here today, because after this service, if you have anything that's still on your heart that you need prayer for, ask Patty or Anya to sit and pray with you afterwards. So 5 o'clock back there, and then this week at 6 o'clock after the prayer meeting, I'm going to come to the prayer meeting this week, and then at 6 o'clock after, I'm asking everybody who's interested in doing the journey to completion this time to meet with me briefly for an orientation about that. So people have been calling and saying they're interested. So if anybody here is interested, if you could come at 6 o'clock on Monday evening to meet about that, okay? Let's see, anything else? All right, I think.
The prayer box.
Oh, the prayer box, yes, and then phones too. So in the back is a prayer box, and you can write your prayers and put them in there, and then our prayer group prays for them, and then we send them to the Unity headquarters, and they're prayed for there for months too. The prayer box back there, and the blessing of the children. Oh, your phones, make sure to turn off your phone. And the bathrooms are, during the service, we have that one be for men and women, and then, so the door doesn't get open and shut back in the back, and then afterwards the men can go through that door into another bathroom that's back there. All right, all the technical things, I think we covered them all. And usually we sing about the face of God and the children, but today, having 80 here, she suggested that we sing this wonderful Irish blessing song. It's simple, it's a chant, and we'll have the children and their teachers come up and learn, we'll all learn the song, and we'll sing the Irish blessing song.
Oh, yay! There it is! Come on up, everybody.
You don't like it? It's okay, you can stay with me right close. Okay, here's the Irish blessing song.
Okay, I'm going to speak the first words so we can hear them spoken, and then I'm going to sing it, and you're going to listen. And then we're going to sing it together. And then I'm going to speak the second half, and then sing it, and you're going to listen, and then we'll sing it together. And then we will start from the top, and we'll just wing it, and if you don't remember the words, it's fine, just hum along. This is how it goes. May troubles be less, and blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come to your door. And may you have luck wherever you go. Your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow. This is what it sounds like. May troubles be less and blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come to your door. And may you have luck wherever you go. Your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow. Let's do that together. Ready? May troubles be less. May troubles be less and blessings be more, and nothing but happiness. And nothing but happiness come to your door. And may you have luck. And may you have luck wherever you go. Your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow. Beautiful. Second half. May winds be at your back and sun be overhead. May friends be at your side wherever you are led. It sounds like this. May winds be at your back and sun be overhead. May friends be at your side wherever you are led. Together, may winds be at your back. May winds be at your back and sun be overhead. May friends be at your side wherever with me. Troubles be less.
Why don't we stand up and...
You want to stand up? Yeah, let's move some energy. Good idea. May troubles be less. 1, 2, ready. May troubles be less and blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come to your door. And may you have luck wherever you go. Your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow. Ready? May winds be at your back and sun be overhead. May friends be at your side wherever you are led. One more time. May troubles be less and blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come to your door. And may you have luck wherever you go. Your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow. May winds be at your back and sun be overhead. May friends be at your side wherever you are led.
Woo! It's a beautiful song, isn't it? I hope we can learn it.
Is it on the CD?
It is not on the CD,
Just
but
have to have you come back.
we'll come back because the advanced part is that we split into 2 groups and we sing both parts at the same time.
Right.
But that's next time.
We'll have a wonderful time with your teachers and good class. Nice meeting you. Oh. Karen, did you bring the computer? There it is. Well,
The lines need to be closed.
Oh no, it's okay. It's actually through the stained glass. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I just gotta
These
adjust.
are beautiful colors.
I know. I'll just close. I'll just have my eyes half shut.
well, the great shift is upon our planet as we see all around us, and the winds and the fires and the rains and the floods and all sorts of things are happening, as well as internal happenings. And so we realize that a shift has to happen, and our theme for today is, if the shift is to happen, I shift, we shift. So it's all about really an internal shift. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And, our first song is a wonderful song about Great Mother, planet Earth, and it's a song of welcoming the fact of our oneness with the Great Mother and the trust that we can have in that oneness. So thank you so much for being here and creating our sacred space with this wonderful song.
Hello. with me. In your eyes I find myself. Beautiful again. In your eyes I find myself. In your eyes I find myself. You'll feel her coming when the wind blows. You'll feel her coming when the rain comes driving down. Rain comes driving down. I feel her coming, and there's fire in her eyes. Fire in her eyes. Driving down. I find myself, sing with me. I find myself, I find myself. I find myself.
Close your eyes with me. Take a deep breath. Feel those haunting words calling you to look into the eyes of the great mother, the great goddess, God, goddess, the mystery, the creator of this planet, of this universe. Do you dare to behold her? Look into her eyes. And what do you see? A great compassion. As the song says, do you see yourself? In her eyes, I find my peace. In her eyes, I find my faith. In her eyes, I find love. In her eyes, I find comfort. Look into her eyes. Great Mother, we bring ourselves to you knowing that you are a presence that is never an absence, that you are always beckoning us, always calling us through everything that happens, calling us to come to you, to feel you, to acknowledge your interbeing presence. I am you, you are me, and we are one. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to be together here. Even as we got ready to come and walked across the parking lot, we could feel the presence growing, because when two or more are gathered, there you are in the midst of us. So we're thankful for this awareness of presence, awareness of love. This is what keeps us going. We're thankful for being here today. We open our hearts with gratitude to all that is about to transpire. Bless us and meet our needs as you always do. Thank you, Great Mother. Amen. Look around you and just with thankful eyes, greet people with your eyes right now and thank them for being here, knowing that as we come together, it's a great comfort to one another to be with like-hearted, like-minded souls in the midst of all that we're going through. It's a comfort. So thankful for all of you being here. You know, from a quantum physics point of view, our every thought is responded to. You know that? Our every thought creates a chemical reaction within our own cells. So all the time we're hardwiring our brains with every single emotion and attitude and feeling. We're creatures of habit. And if we don't shift, the universe keeps producing what we are putting out. So it's not a matter of if you want it or don't want it. It's responding to the energy of whatever we're creating, whether we say we want it or we don't want it. So if all of our attention is going on lack and fear and not enoughness, then guess what? That's what we're going to get more of. The universe doesn't know if you want it or don't want it. It responds to your vibrational energy. So trying to distance from things or run from them when we don't like what we've created is not really the solution. You know what I've learned is that I don't have to live in fear or lack. Even when I get stuck in it for moments, I can shift. I can shift. We can shift. We can shift our focus, our perception, and that is a powerful act. And that's what I'd like to dwell with today while we're together. If thine eye can be single, Jesus said, if thine eye can be single. So in that first song, our eye, where is it focused? Focused on the Great Mother and her eyes. Focused on the Great Father and his provision for us. If thine eye can be single. So let's pull it together. Let's use our imagination and our vision and our thoughts and combine them with our emotions to usher into this world the visions of the Great Mother, the visions of compassion, the visions that we have for this planet. We can shift and allow the abundance of God to meet our needs according to his riches in glory. All abundance is flowing. We just get so distracted and scattered, and we tend to undermine ourselves, don't we? So intent is the place of inner organization. We can focus our minds and discipline them. And this next song reminds me of that. It's called The Light, right? And it's about where do we focus and how are we using our focus to bring this shift. You are the light. One of the great lights in my life has been Michael Beckwith of the Agape Church down in LA. Gotten to hear him speak several times, and I found a reading from him that seems to speak to what we're getting at today, and I've asked Karen to come and read it to us. It's a good thing for her to read to us because it's a play on a theater, that we are all living out a theater piece, and as we know, Karen's an actress and ran a theater down in Houston, and so it's a good reading for her to read to us. Thank you, Karen.
I'm going to have to kind of wing this today, okay, everybody?
Didn't give her much practice.
Yeah, I can get it. Albert Einstein, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. As we sit in our inner screening room, observing the ever-changing scenery of our life, we can examine the part we play in our cosmic oeuvre movie by turning on our inner lighting system and asking, am I chasing after false images of what the world tells me I should want and run after? Or am I living in tune with my highest purpose? Only spiritual technology is advanced enough to reveal that each of us is the creator, producer, and director of what we call my life. In order to edit our current points of view, break our attachments, dissolve our illusions, and leave them on the cutting room floor, we must devoutly apply our spiritual practices. And once we do, we can. Stop auditioning for bit parts and take on the star role, intending us to play as a self-actualizing being, standing on the grand stage of life. Whether we are conscious of it or not, we are participating in the daily screen test of consciousness. EGO is grasping for the Academy Award of Outer Success, while our spirit looks on with compassion and yearning to surrender to that which is the authentic measure of success, conscious union with spirit. Through living this highest purpose on the stage of life, we enter a conscious awareness of the power and presence that infuses our existence. By doing so, we no longer struggle to gain recognition, praise, and more of which ultimately cannot satisfy. We no longer seek to get from life. Instead, we seek to live from the heart set of compassion and selfless service. This is an affirmation. Today, I write my own life script in partnership with spirit and play my part with creativity and joy. I'll do that again, and then we can all do it together. Today, I write my own life script in partnership with spirit and play my part with creativity and joy. So let's try it together. Today, I write my own life script in partnership with spirit and play my part with creativity and joy.
And during the week, some of you communicate with me. I encourage all of you to email me if you come up with ideas. They lead me to what I talk about. So I got a text from John this week, and he said that this beautiful poem by RUMI came through after what I talked about last week. And so I asked him to come and share this RUMI poem with us. There's a microphone right there too. Sure, it's turned on.
I said,
Hold the mic up close.
what about my eyes? God said, keep him on the road. I said, what about my passion? God said, keep it burning. I said, what about my heart? God said, tell me what you hold inside it. I said, pain and sorrow. She said, stay with it. The wound is the place where the light enters you.
We know this, don't we? The light, how does the light get into us? The places where we get hurt, the light enters us, guides us, becoming more compassionate. And then Anya, you contacted me with a poem and emailed it to me, and this poem is so beautiful for today too.
Good morning. This is a poem by Rebecca Del Rio, and it's entitled Prescription for the Disillusioned. Come new to this day. Remove the rigid overcoat of experience, the notion of knowing, the beliefs that cloud your vision. Leave behind the stories of your life. Spit out the sour taste of unmet expectation. Let the stale scent of what-ifs waft back into the swamp of your useless fears. Arrive curious, without the armor of certainty, the plans and planned results of the life you've imagined. Live the life that chooses you. New every breath, every blink of your astonished eyes. Live the life that chooses you. New every breath, every blink of your astonished eyes.
When
great message, that the garden, it keeps growing around us. I'm getting older. This month I have to apply for Medicare. And it's a rite of passage. And I was thinking to myself, I don't feel that much older, but what does it mean to be an elder? What does it mean? I think one thing it means is that I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot of ups and downs. And after a while, I know that the garden keeps growing. After we've been through a lot, we've seen so many things come and go, and for me anyway, it's grown my faith. It's grown my sense of connection with love that never does let me down, really. Even though there's a lot of letting goes to do and a lot of changes that take place, there's such a feeling of this river of love that does carry us along. Maybe that's what it means to be an elder, is that we have a growing faith, that the garden does keep growing. But there's a tendency amongst us humans to get off track, to get distracted. We're so distractible sometimes, and we can get scattered. We have this incredible capacity to get out of alignment right when we need to be in alignment the most. So the spiritual path, I think, is all about practicing certain things, certain mindsets, certain practices, so that we can walk our lives, like the song says, get up in the morning, wake up, and walk our lives to get organized, to organize our thoughts, to set our intent. Like I said a few minutes ago, intent is about organizing reality. So I'm really thankful that I learned from the Huichol the journey to completion and put it together into this teaching that I can offer that's about helping us to stay organized. It's a way of organizing our shadow material so that when it comes up, it doesn't overwhelm us, and we can learn how to get a gift out of it, out of the difficult things that occur, so that we can bring our life destiny callings through to completion, step by step. In this process, I often quote Carlos Castaneda, who says, intent is everything. Intent is everything. That we've got to focus our minds in a disciplined way. In this wonderful book that I often refer people to called The Craft of the Warrior, it talks a lot about intent and how we work with our perceptions and how we develop power leaks that have to be corrected. But it says that the whole purpose of focusing our intent more and more is so that we can become spiritual warriors. That's what it means by the craft of the warrior, being a spiritual warrior. So that more and more of our energy can be spent, rather than just on survival needs, but on focusing into the unknown. The unknown. Well, when we die, we're really going into the unknown, the great mystery, so we do need to prepare for it. But right here, at any age that we are, the unknown calls us. When you get up and make a big change in your life, you're having the faith to venture out into the unknown, to leave what you've known. Well, here's what it says about the unknown here. The unknown is both mysterious and familiar to the warrior. Because of his flexibility and versatility, the warrior functions well in the everyday realm. But unlike most ordinary people, warriors actually seek out the adventures of the realms of the unknown. It is this seeking that in large part defines what a warrior is. A warrior is not content to rest in the arena of what is only functional and apparently safe and secure. The warrior seeks to expand her perception in a lifelong quest for knowledge and a larger perspective of the world. So there are advantages to learning to go after the unknown, to have a focus on the unknown. So earlier in the song, we look into the eyes, we behold the eyes of the goddess, the beloved. Well, as we peer into those eyes, we are peering into a great mystery, because we don't know God, really. We can't know, right? We can't know the great mystery and all of what that means, and yet we can. as the song is saying to us, as it reflects us to ourselves. We start to come into alignment with what we're seeing in the divine order. But we've got to get aligned within our own self first before we can align with the divine order. And a lot of times we're trying to control things that we cannot control, aren't we? We try to control things in our heads. We try to control other people. So much of the time we spend worrying and trying to fix things, fix everything for everybody. But the most important thing is that we have to love our lives as they unfold, like that beautiful poem by Anya, that Anya brought us was saying. Love our lives as they unfold. So if we could spend more of our thinking time saying, I love my life. No matter what happens, I love my life as it's unfolding. Through all the ups and downs and eddies and rapids in the river of life, I love my life. Let's just say that together. Just say those words. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. We've got to stop trying to hedge our lives and compartmentalize them and control them and try to get them all planned out ahead of time or get ahead of it like life is this thing that's against us. We've been given a precious gift of life, and it's important for us to love this life that is just as it is. That's our unique life, and stay focused on what we're here to deal with and create so that we're valuing our lives as they unfold. We're staying focused on our lives are valuable. Here at Unity, I love it because we don't teach that when you pray that you are begging and beseeching a reluctant deity out there somewhere to do something for us to change everything. We don't pray that way. How we pray is that we're becoming awake and aware of this presence that is closer than close. It is our very life. So when we say, I love my life, we're really saying, I love you, God. I love you, Divine Spirit. You're closer to me than my hands and my own feet. You're within me. The great mystery, the unknown, the cosmic unknown is within me. Like the mystic said, the Godhead is within. It's such a mystery that the universe, in its perfect pattern of consciousness, is unfolding within us. Divine luminosity, divine light, luminosity, is consciousness itself. In all of its glory and majesty, it wants to be consciousness of itself as you. Do you hear me? Consciousness wants to wake up in your life. This presence of all the beauty and glory of everywhere is coming right to the tiny spot of you, and this consciousness wants you to wake up to it as your very life. In that awareness, you can look at your neighbor right now. Go ahead and look at your neighbor and say, God is in you. The great mystery is in you. Peace is in you. Abundance is in you. I see radiance in you. You're being kind of quiet about it, but the person next to you has come to make a difference on this planet and to change the world for the better. We've got a lot to do and a lot to be together. So just touch the person next to you and say, I agree to this. I agree. I agree to this mission that I've got. I agree. Touch and agree. What if we really accepted this? What if we really accepted that we have been given everything? That the great God of the universe has provided everything. The consciousness is available to us to create the order, the divine order that is needed on planet Earth. What if we really accepted this? That we have been given everything and the rest is up to us. Reminds me of a story about a farmer, that a man came to visit him on his land that he'd been working on for years and years, and there were beautiful trees in full bloom and flowers, and the crops were growing well. And this visitor man said to him, "Wow, God's really blessed you." And the farmer said, "Yes, yes, but you should have seen this place before I took it over." So life is given, and then the rest is up to us. It's what we make of our lives. We start with the premise, life is given to me, and now what am I going to do with it? At any age that we are, every single day is an opportunity to allow the greater mystery to unfold in the fullness of divine luminosity through us. What if we gave even 51% of our attention to this, to the Spirit coming through us? A momentum would start building in our lives. And this is what I think I've experienced this in my life, that this momentum starts pulling us towards a greater creativity and a greater reality than we ever could have imagined that we'd be doing. However, lots of people, and maybe a good portion of our lives, has gotten spent on survival, on what we need to survive. And our focus is not about evolving life on the planet, but just how are we going to eke out a little safety and a little happiness within our limited circumstances. But if we wake up every day with the assertion, I have all that I need, even if you've just lost a lot, if you assert, I have all I need, and I will see what lessons come to me today for my evolution. I'm starting to practice that more and more, and it's quite amazing what happens, because even if it appears to be lack, but I keep asserting, I know that the Spirit of the universe is within me and I have all I need, amazing things happen in miraculous ways. Have you been experiencing that too? Yeah. You know, Agape Church in LA is named after this agape kind of love, and the word in Greek is actually agapeo. The agapeo love is actually a directional love. It's called a will love, and it leads to a oneness love. So it's not about what we like, the agapeo love. It's about sticking with the oneness love, whether I like it or not, whether I like this person or not, whether I like these circumstances or not. It's a directional love that we set our minds to. I'm going to have agape love. We fall out of agape love with ourselves sometimes because we don't like ourselves. We don't like what we're thinking, what we're doing, what we've said. We disappoint ourselves. The same thing we do to others too. We don't like what they do, so we judge and criticize. And in our culture, there's this tendency to use estrangement as punishment. We cut off, we distance. When you don't like what somebody's done, they don't meet your expectations. So often in our culture, we separate off. I think we have a great luxury to do this in a way because we've got a vast country. And we've got transportation. And in the past, people didn't have such an ability to get away from one another. But we do this. We separate off all too often. Thich Nhat Hanh said, never close your heart to anyone. Never close your heart to anyone. There's a popular saying now that goes, he's dead to me, she's dead to me. Have you heard it? Going around? It's a popular saying now. And there's a tendency to do that inside of ourselves sometimes. When somebody hurts us, they're dead to me. You know? But no, we're working with this agapeo kind of love. Never close your heart to anyone. Never close your heart to any possibility. Never close your heart to yourself, to the potential that you have to change and grow. If you don't like what you do, don't set up barriers inside of your own self and push away your feelings like John's poem was saying about the wound. Don't turn away from our wounds. Open our hearts, even to our own selves, where the hurts have been, and let the light work us. Shadow, light, sole, sombre, it's all about healing. That's why we're here. So we can turn toward those difficult parts, those angry parts of our own self with compassion. We are creative beings, and it's just a matter of what are we going about growing and creating. We spend our time focusing a lot on external things that we're trying to create, trying to get this in our life that we need or that in our life, or we spend time trying to change external people too. But more and more, like the Dalai Lama has said to us a few years ago, the focus has got to be internal now. We've got to spend more and more of our time thinking about changing from within, the I shift, meditating, doing our spiritual practices, so that we are becoming these powerful beings that can actually create whatever we imagine. I think it was Ernest Holmes who said, what you can imagine, you can have. There aren't enough words, really, to describe how powerful we are. There are not enough words to describe how powerful you are. If you could just glimpse a smidgen of it. I'm not asking you to know it or comprehend it. It's a mystery. It's beyond our capacity to comprehend. It would be like asking you to comprehend technologies that are going to be in place 500 years from now. We can't imagine what they're going to be. But something inside of us knows that technology is going to evolve and get bigger and greater than anything that we have today. I just pray that humanity has the ethics in place to handle that. But we know that technology is going to get more savvy. Why can't we imagine our own selves and our own power and our own positivity and our own potential as humanity growing this way? This is the crazy thing about it, that what we see is such a smidgen of what's possible. But like I was saying about quantum physics, science has gotten to the point where it tells us, it tries to get this across to us, that what we see in the manifest world is just energy vibrating. All the matter around us is just energy vibrating at a lower frequency. The higher the frequency, the more invisible it becomes. The more spiritual and the more potentiality there is there to shift into different forms. So we, as humans, are being called, we know this, we keep hearing about ascension, but we're being called to up-level our vibration. Then we become like water, for example, like an ice cube is a solid form. When it's heated, energy, in other words, coming to it, the molecules of the solid ice melt. The heat, the energy, the passion, it makes the ice more fluid, and a chunk of ice starts to become fluid, and it can move all over the place. There aren't the same restrictions. That's what we're being called to do right now. Ignite our passions, whatever they are. Your creativity, your passion is important. There may be a new edge of it that's coming to you right now. Let the heat be turned up. Let the ice cubes melt and become more fluid, so that we can, and then, we can become even more fluid than water too. We can become vapor, where there's even more potential. It's even more invisible. Like consciousness, it moves up a few notches. So let's see ourselves as being bigger and more powerful than we've yet imagined. If we lived in a society right now that was doing this all the time, which I think a lot of us are, and so just to name that and acknowledge it, a lot of us are allowing all that's happening around us, all the fury and fire and everything that's going on, to turn up the notch and to melt us and to allow us to become a higher vibration. We don't want to get stuck in any one form. I read something on the internet this week that a young woman wrote. She was saying it feels to her like we are really between forms right now. That the old forms really truly are, as we've been saying they were going to do, but they really are passing away now. And the new forms haven't fully come yet. So her teaching was, don't hang on to anything too tight right now. let it go, let things go, be open to the new forms coming that aren't quite here yet. Can you relate to that? She was saying it's like being in a birth canal. So much more is coming than we can imagine. We've got to have a willingness, like the agapeo love, directing our will to be anything and everything that Spirit wants us to be right now. We tend to play too small. We limit ourselves with specific ideas of where we think we have to go or what we think we have to do. But like with physics, ice and water, once an object is in motion, it's easier to move it in a new direction. So let's stay in motion. Joe Dispenza, he talks about breaking the habit of being yourself. Right now, let everything that's happening to you break the habit of being yourself. I'm really trying to look at that, what my ideas of myself are that have formed so solidly, and letting go. To what kind of creative potential do I have that I haven't realized yet? How big is my capacity to love? How big is my capacity to give? What would more freedom really look like in my life? You don't have to have a specific goal. That's just going to limit you. There's a little story about top executives and a survey that was given to them. They were trying to find out the personality traits that are the evidence of further success in a big executive. And there was, on this whole survey, there was one question that they all answered the same. And that question was, what would you do differently if you could do it over again? And they all answered it the same. You know what they said? No?
Nothing.
No? They said, I would have had a bigger dream. No matter what I saw, it was so much smaller than what was possible. So we won't know until we get there. It's like we're swimming to a distant shore. Until we get out of the water that we're in right now and dry out, whatever we say is just going to be a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Because we can't really experience the mystery that is coming. We can experience the buoyancy of being in the water, though. So I urge you all, just get in it. God troubles the waters to bring us a blessing. The political climate, the climate of nature is all very tumultuous and intense right now. And we are praying constantly for those in the storms of wind and fire. If you want unconditional love, but you don't want to get into relationships, you're going to have trouble finding this unconditional love. We've got to make ourselves available to all that's going on, to care, to not be in the, what do they call it, the spell, the conspiracy of apathy. No, we're supposed to be entering in with our full spiritual warrior selves of deeply caring and then letting go. Deeply caring and letting go, knowing that we will survive and that we will live to tell the story. And it's going to be a fabulous story. I know that you can relate to this, but growing up, I never imagined all the things that would be possible that are possible now. And yet I knew I had to be true to myself. And that's what we each have to do. Like, I knew I wanted to be a woman minister, but I didn't see any woman ministers around me. I knew that it was right for gay people to be able to be married, but that sure was a long ways off. Things have come about that are beyond our wildest imagination. And more of that is going to be happening. There's a phrase in the Bible that says, I shall not rest until I rest in thee. I shall not rest until I rest in the mystery of God, in the potentiality of mystery. I will not allow the fitfulness and restlessness of my ego or my mind to be in control. You have this capacity to rest in the awareness that all is well. So let's rest in abundance right now. Let's rest in joy right now. Let's rest in health right now. Let's rest in the right place to live right now. What would you like to rest in right now? Just call out a few things. I want to rest in
Perfection.
perfection. I want to rest in joy, peace, creativity, connection, compassion, friendship, security, contentment. I want to rest. I want to rest in the presence that knows every hair on my head. Even if you've got a bald head, your shiny scalp, God still knows all those hairs too. You rest in the dynamic truth that all your needs are being met, that everything that happens is working together for good. During the course of the day, as you find yourself resting in the awareness of the divine supply that your needs are being met, then there begins to be what's called a subjective tendency toward all is well. A subjective tendency toward I feel supported, that everything is working together for my good. That begins to override your perception of events that took place in your past, even yesterday, or that are taking place right now, which you label as negative. As you find yourself resting, then your defense system and your old perceptions start to fade away. What was locked and loaded into your nervous system as an old pattern starts to unlock. And you start to really feel that you have everything within you. God, Goddess is within you. And you can rest in the awareness that this presence that is never an absence, that this tendency, this subjective tendency, starts to match your superconscious knowing. When these two come together, your subjective tendency and your superconscious knowing, it's as if the din of all your past hurts and fears is just overwhelmed by this pounding in your heart of this love. Do you sit there feeling it right now? Do you feel it as you go throughout your day? There is a love that's growing and growing inside of us and growing on this planet. No matter what the circumstances, there is a mass change of consciousness afoot. Like Starhawk says, there is magic afoot. And you know what magic is? The ability to change consciousness at will. Magic, the ability to change consciousness at will. That's what this agapeo love is. It's a will love. It's a directional love. So we are cultivating this ability to rest. I had a dream a while back when I was taking on doing the whole Circle of Trust project that this avatar being came to me. Maybe I've told you the dream before. It's such an important dream. And she said, so you're worried about all of this and that and this and that? And I'm, yes, it's a really big project. I don't know if I can do it. She said, well, come with me. I want to show you something. And she took me to all the different situations that I was worried about and showed me this one and said, now, look, we are taking care of it. All you have to do is this. Lean back. Rest. And I leaned back, and it was as if there was a cloud there receiving me. And then she'd take me to the next situation and show me, we're taking care of it. Now, what do you have to do? Rest. Rest. Take a deep breath right now. I rest in the fact that you and I are being transformed from glory to greater glory. I rest in the fact that we are participating in our own evolution by taking responsibility for knowing that everything has been given, that all is well. Feel the feeling of abundance and peace, and the universe will match that feeling. The universe is a feeling place, and you are a feeling being. So right now, let yourself feel these feelings of love and wholeness and peace. It's your choice. You want to rest in what God is supplying, and she is supplying all your needs according to her riches and glory. God's flowing love and abundance is real, and the rest is up to us. Let's do it. Let's be it. Let's live it. Can I hear you shout out about that? there's a wonderful song that Adie and James have next for us, and it's called Forgiveness. And who was this song written by, Adie?
Patty Griffin.
Patty Griffin. And Adie just does a beautiful rendition of it. So let this song be, like a seal on everything that we've just said and experienced, and really feel into the feelings of this song, Forgiveness.
We are swimming with the snakes at the bottom of the well. So silent and peaceful in the darkness where we fell. We are not snakes, and what's more, we never will be. But if we stay swimming here forever, we will never be free. I heard him ringing the bells in heaven and hell. They got a secret they're getting ready to tell. It's falling from the skies and it's calling from the grave. Open your eyes, boy, I think we are saved. Open your eyes, boy, I think we are saved. Let's take a walk on the bridge, right over this mess. Don't need to tell me a thing, baby, we've already confessed. And I raised my voice to the air, and we were blessed. Oh, it's hard to give, and it's so hard to get. It's hard to forgive. Oh, still I think it's the best bet yet. It's hard to forgive. Oh, I'm never gonna forget. And everybody needs a little forgiveness. And everybody needs a little forgiveness. And everybody needs a little forgiveness.
We should probably give an even bigger round of applause to our wonderful musicians, Adie and James. And love that's so palpable. Thank you so much. We're so thankful for unity. We're thankful for all of you. We're thankful that we can hold this space every week and be a beacon of light. People have come here from all over the nation and all over the world, and we just give thanks whenever we're able to be of service. And right now we want to give thanks by giving our offering. We have so much to give, so much life to live, that we're willing to share abundantly. We share our tithes and our offerings so that we can anchor heaven on earth. That's what we're doing here. We're willing to share abundantly so that we can bring our visions into manifestation. I'm willing to do my part. I know you're willing to do your part. So bless your offering. Pause before you put it in and bless it. Magnify the consciousness of all good that is supplying all of our needs. In our world, we get caught up into thinking that the real is the green stuff, but the real is energy. And the green stuff has come to symbolize this energy, but the real, God is real. Light is real. Love is real. The invisible is actually more real. So we are just blessing this symbol of our reality with the energy. It's much more real, knowing that all good will be accomplished through your offering. As the offering is finished being taken, let's just say this closing affirmation together. I am one with God. I am one with the universe. I am one with the universe. I am one with love. I am one with love. I am one with infinite peace. I am one with infinite peace. I am one with the love of God that is infinite. I am one with the love of God that is infinite. I am only here for God. I am only here for God. Doesn't that bring a resonance, a feeling of a certain vibrational resonance in you when you say that? And now we have this prayer that we say to bless our offering. It's similar to that. It says, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. So it is. Let's get in our big circle.